This is episode 93 of AmateurLogic.TV for July 15th, 2016. This episode of Amateur Logic was brought to you by MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com, and by Icom, reminding you to get out there and get on the air for the National Parks on the Air 2016. Hi, welcome to Amateur Logic. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Emil.
And it's good to be back with you again. You know, we just had field day here last weekend in the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, this is a little bit of the supplies we had left over.
Boy, yeah, we even brought out the heavy stuff for this event. And we had no insect problems this year to speak of.
You know, last year I got eat up with chiggers.
Yeah.
I scratched for like 3 weeks. And this year, every time I went outside, I sprayed myself down with one of these three right here. So I probably had a good coating of that stuff on. But
see, you've got the off cloaking spray there, don't you?
Yeah, Predator version. It's you spray this stuff, the mosquitoes can't even find you.
Boy, it really worked well too, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I don't really think I had any mosquito bites or chiggers.
I didn't either.
Or ticks. I saw Wayne pull one tick off of himself, but that's the only insect incident that I can recall.
Yeah, I remember a couple of flies in the tent when we first set it up, but they left pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
well, I don't know. I wasn't there when y'all set it up.
No, you weren't.
You guys did the heavy lifting.
Yeah, that's right. Tommy did. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Emil, what about you? Did you do field day this year?
Yeah, no mosquito was brave enough to hit the 110 heat index we had, but we were in the field and we had a good time. Bands weren't as open as we would have liked them to be, but we did make a bunch of contacts, a bunch of points. So good day, good times.
And had a good time, right? That's what counts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had a good time too, and you're right, the bands weren't as good as they've been in years past. Pretty sure about that. Well, Peter, I know y'all didn't have that event down there, but what has been going on in the last month down under?
Well, not a great deal. I would make the point, though, that because our seasons are at 180 degrees to yours, it's winter down here, so you really wouldn't want to go out and do field day at this time of the year, but summertime, over December, January, it's a good time to get out with the radio.
You know, I like the cold weather. I would prefer to do it in the cold than in the heat.
Well, there is a winter field day.
Yeah, we ought to do that.
Well, you pitch the tent this winter and
Okay.
install the heaters, and then I'll come.
All right.
That's kind of how it went this year. We got Wayne, his brother Vince, and I went on Friday night this year and got the campgrounds cleared out, the tent pitched, all of that done. Tommy didn't show up the next morning until almost time.
Some of us have to work.
Well, yeah, I know, and some of us did.
Yeah. Oh, you guys worked. You did a good job. But,
Yep.
I wasn't able to make it for that.
Yep. We brought back some footage, of course. It's a little different and a little the same as what we've done in years past.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it yet. You
No,
don't
I haven't
really know
seen
what
it.
we've got.
I lived a little bit of it.
You did live a little bit of it, yep. But you didn't live the first day of it.
And I'll let you know shortly whether I'm thankful for that or not.
Okay. Well, I think you'll be able to decide right quick like here. So let's take a look at, just packing up and getting ready for field day. Do I have everything I need for field day? This is going to be a 2-day excursion. Not only do we need stuff for the day of the event, I'm bringing 2 coolers because it's going to be hot, very hot, and we're spending an extra night at the site. I've got my generator ready to go, and Wayne's bringing 2 more. We've got the gazebo that we used last year as one of our tents. And buried underneath in here, we've got another tent that just came in a few weeks ago. We've never set it up before. We wanted to, but didn't have time to. So that's our goal for tonight, just to clean off the site area, get it ready, set the tent up, and be ready to go in the morning with everything else setting up. Of course, we've got a UPS to run the computers off of. Plenty of coax. I've got several boxes of just spare amateur radio junk up there that I don't even know I'll need, but hey, it's always good to have. Even carrying a broom, you just never know. And in those 3 boxes on the bottom there, well, that's 3 of the currently most sought after radios, the Icom IC 7300. Well, here comes another part of the crew. It's the Eubanks brothers, Vince and Wayne. You looking forward to field day?
I am. It's been about 15 years since I've been to last one.
Oh, really? Man, it looks like...
Participating, not just against.
Yeah. Looks like that trailer is packed. So you got a new generator there.
I do. It was a blessing.
Yeah, I heard about that deal. Oh, a couple of nice flight cases over there too.
Yeah, one of them's nice. The big one's got holes all in it.
Yeah.
It's drilled for cooling fans.
Oh, okay. So we got room for my generator on here?
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, I think we can get it on there.
That was a pretty good bit of stuff in that truck, but I saw somebody in the chat room say that was a lot of gear, but there were actually 3 vehicles in all that were pretty loaded down.
Yeah, and Wayne was pulling a trailer behind his.
Yeah.
But we didn't look inside of his. I don't think they opened the door because we didn't know what might pop out.
Yeah. I think it was pretty full too.
Yeah. But, you know, we were there for 2 days, or 2 nights, not just one like we've done.
But even when we go for one night, we still have pretty much the same amount of gear. Maybe one less cooler.
Oh, one less cooler, yeah. Which was a very important
thing to have. The cooler is a very important thing to have in Mississippi in June.
Yeah.
Do you guys know that Padre on Know-How has actually been making swamp coolers for the past couple of episodes? So that might be something that you could use in the future.
Yeah, those probably don't work that good down here in the swamp, do they?
Yeah. No. We got that top, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we don't need the swamp cooler.
We got the swamp.
We got some
Well, we got real air coolers, yeah.
Yeah. Who needs a swamp cooler when you got a real one? Yeah,
down here where the humidity's so high, Peter, that type of technology does not work as well as you would hope.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's mostly for a dry area.
Basically, he had a fan that was blowing air across blocks of ice, and that was creating cool air that way. A little bit different from a humidifier.
Yeah, well, humidifier is not really, because it's not a cooling device here. It's just put some humidity in the air. But a lot of people call that a poor man's air conditioner. You put the ice in the styrofoam cooler and cut some holes in it, PVC. That's what he did?
Yep, that's right, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'd be a little bit cooler.
It'd help.
It would help. You'd have water dripping off of stuff, though, probably. Not as it is.
I reckon the ice would melt pretty quickly down your way.
Probably would.
Yeah. We like to try to keep the ice inside the cooler. So.
Yeah. Besides, the ice is for the most important thing, namely keeping the beer cold.
Yeah. Well, so we had everything packed up, and it looked like it was all going to be downhill from there. And then, well, we arrived at the campsite. I'm the first one to arrive here at our field day campsite. This is the same place that we camped last year. Let's go on down and have a look. It took me a moment to find the entrance, not long though. I just didn't remember it having this turn here in it, but here it is. Looks pretty well cleared out. Oh, except for that. There's a dead pine tree that's fallen directly over the spot that we pitched the tent. So fortunately, Wayne's got a chainsaw with him, and they should be here in just a few minutes. We got Wayne out here on the chainsaw now. That tree is rotten. But not as rotten as it looks. Wayne, do you think it's going to be getting hot this evening?
What do you mean gonna be?
Well, we got the tree cut. The chainsaw worked just long enough to cut off some pieces of it, so we've got enough room.
We hope.
We hope. That tarp is, what'd you say?
Supposed to be a 10 by 20.
And we got a 10 by 18 tent, so looks like we got enough room. The door.
Yeah.
The door will be right here. So not bad. I think it's going to work out okay, and it was really nice that this place had not grown up much. Of course, we've got the crime scene tape reinstalled now. That's become a field day tradition for us. That and sweating, I think that's the two traditions that we have. So if it's 7, it'll be dark up in these woods by what, 8:30?
It'll be in the woods. It'll be dark before then.
Yeah. So you think we can get the tent set up?
We better.
Yeah.
I want some air conditioning.
I do too.
I was a bit concerned about the potential Mississippi Chainsaw Massacre, George.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot more of that going on than you saw there. He cut off about, I don't know, 6 or 8 pieces of that tree, and I rolled them off back to, well, Vince
down into that ditch?
Into that ditch, because there was a piece of the tree when you got there, but it was all the way across where the tent was there.
Wow.
It's a good thing that tree fell before you set up there.
Well, it is. Yeah, that's a very good point, Emil.
Yeah.
I had not considered that to be a bonus.
But you
That
know,
might be points on field day.
Yeah.
You know, last year we cleared out a lot of greenery under there.
Yeah.
And it's really not that surprising that it didn't grow back, because it's pretty heavy. You know, it's under a pretty heavy canopy there. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
a lot of trees. Well, you could tell by what was on the ground there, all the leaves. But I ran the weed eater over, you know, just a few weeds that were there. We cut a few little stobs out too, but we didn't get one, and it was right there where you walk in the door of the tent.
yeah, we got a little puncher in the bottom of the tent.
I looked and looked for that one, but I just couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And then after we pitched the tent, it was no trouble to find.
Yeah, it showed right up. I see Kevin on here on the chat room asking if we saw any snakes. I didn't see any.
No.
I'll be honest, every field day we've been on, I haven't seen a single snake.
I haven't either.
It might be too deep in the woods for them.
Well, I mean, Tommy, was any of the coax moving?
Well, there was a piece of coax that was screwed out from under the tent one time.
Okay, you got to watch out for moving coax.
Just out of interest, what kind of snakes do you get in the Mississippi woods, and are they poisonous?
Oh, there are plenty of poisonous snakes.
Yeah.
We got rattlesnakes, copperheads. Well, there are plenty of them.
A cottonmouth.
Yeah.
Well, they're usually near the water.
Well, it could have been water in that ditch.
Well, it could have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a lot of poisonous snakes here.
Yeah. No gators
right.
in the woods though.
That's about the only thing that's not in there.
There's plenty of poisonous snakes here in Australia. Like most of our animals, they're deadly. So
Yeah, I saw that. I've seen the videos, a few videos about that. You guys got more than your fair share of them.
Oh yeah, and not to mention the redback spiders, drop bears.
Drop bears.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm glad we don't have those.
Yeah. Well, we did get the area clean there and got most of the tree out of the way. And as you can see, we weren't too far away from dark, so we thought we'd better put the tent together. And
that was probably a good idea.
we moved on with the plan.
A shower would have probably been a good idea too.
Well, there's the tent, and it went up a lot quicker than we would have thought. And it's probably a little smaller than we would have thought. You notice we folded back the ends of the 10 by 20 tarp there. So this thing can't be 18 feet long. So, I don't know. We'll have to see if we can all fit in there. Somehow, 2 flies have already found their way in here. I'm all the way at one end now. There's the other end. No gear in here yet, but maybe this will work. Well, it's Saturday morning about, roughly somewhere around 10 a.m. We did get the tent up last night before dark. We covered it in a tarp to give us a little extra layer of insulation so that the air conditioning would work better inside. Today, actually we got that done before dark. We did get a couple antennas up. Wayne's got his outbacker outpost out there, and I got my 40-meter vertical up. It was dark by the time we got to that, but we did get it done. Today, so far, we've pitched one of the pop-up canopies like we used last year. You know, we had 2 of those, and we covered them with visqueen. Well, we've done it with 1 this year on the front of the tent here. So we'd have a little more room to stretch out because there's going to be 4 of us in here this year.
Yeah, my brother, Vince, in 5K QW, has decided to rough the woods, which is something he doesn't normally do. He's not an outdoor person, but he's come with us this year, and he's brought an extra air conditioner, so we're hoping that maybe we'll be all right. It's supposed to be really hot this weekend. I think the high today is 98 with over 50, 60, 70% humidity, so it's going to be tough. Yeah,
what the heat index is 105 or a little better. Well, I think one thing to help get Vince here is the fact that we had 3 IC 7300s in tow.
Probably so. He's been talking about those for a while, and now he gets a chance to play with one.
I hear him doing it right now. We set one up last night and had some lessons and went over how to do a few things on it. I haven't got it all figured out, but it's a lot like my 7700, so I had figured out enough that to get started with. And so Vince and I had a big time playing with it last night, but you didn't.
No, I was sound asleep. I think probably by the time y'all got that set up around 10 o'clock, I had been up for almost 30 hours, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to go.
You were on your second job, the pulpwood industry, I think.
Well, that's what you told me. I have no idea.
Well, it's the truth. But we were armed with earplugs, so everything come out okay. Vince and I stayed up to about midnight, and I don't know what time it was when we got up this morning. It was kind of early, wasn't it?
I got up right at 6 o'clock, and I think y'all probably got up about 30 minutes after that.
Well, we got another antenna to hang, and that's the 80-meter off-center fed dipole of yours, and hopefully getting the line up in the tree will go better.
We got new bands on the slingshot, so.
Yep. But we should have brought heavier weights. I think that was part of our problem.
Well, I do have some 1-ounce weights. I bought some more of those, so hopefully it'll go.
And Tommy, you may notice he's not even here yet. He's on his way, so he's getting out real easy on this field day.
He is. All he's going to have to do is set up his radio and his antenna. As far as accommodations, he's just walking right into an air-conditioned, fan-cooled shack.
Exactly. All right, well, let's go see if we can work up another sweat out here.
That ain't gonna take long.
No.
We'll see y'all after a while.
You guys did a good job. I got to say, that was pretty much like checking into another hotel when I got there. I just basically walked in. It's already nice and cool.
Yeah, well, it hadn't been, believe me.
Oh, no, I could tell by looking at Wayne.
Yeah, it had been very hot.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break for just a moment, get a message from one of the people that helps make Amateur Logic possible, and then we're going to come back and we've got a little announcement from another country not represented here tonight. But we'll be in this video, and then we're going to find out what Emil did for Field Day, and we've got more of our Field Day adventure too.
Awesome.
For years, hams have relied on the world's most popular antenna analyzer, the MFJ259B. That compact battery-powered RF impedance analyzer combined four basic circuits: a 1.8 through 170 MHz variable frequency oscillator, a frequency counter, a 50-ohm RF bridge, and an 8-bit microcontroller. Now the MFJ259 has been updated to the new MFJ259C. All the same great functions present in the 259B with an expanded frequency range. The MFJ259C covers all frequencies from 530 kHz to 230 MHz, allowing measurements all the way from the AM broadcast band through the 220 MHz amateur band. Make a wide variety of useful antenna impedance measurements, including coaxial cable loss and distance to an open or short. Primarily designed for analyzing 50-ohm antenna and transmission line systems, the MFJ259C also measures RF impedances between a few ohms and several hundred ohms. It also functions as a signal source and a frequency counter. The MFJ259C gives you a complete picture of your antenna's performance. Read antenna SWR and complex impedance, determine velocity factor, coaxial cable loss in dB, length of coax, and distance to a short or open in feet. Read SWR, return loss, and reflection coefficient at any frequency simultaneously at a single glance. You can even read inductance and microhenries and capacitance and picofarads at RF frequencies. The large, easy-to-read two-line LCD screen and side-by-side meters clearly display all the information you need. While a lot of new antenna analyzers have appeared in the market recently, none give you the flexibility and wide assortment of RF measurement capabilities the MFJ259C does. If you've been putting off getting an antenna analyzer, then you need to take a look at the new MFJ259C. Visit mfjenterprises.com today. Tommy, I got a little video from EA4GIL, and I don't know how to pronounce his name. I hate to butcher it.
I'm not even going to try.
No.
ETIENNE?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you
I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I do know how you pronounce the event he's talking about. It's Iberradio.
Oh, cool.
You ever heard of Iberradio?
I have not, but I'm about to.
You're about to.
Cool, I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome to Iberradio. Bueno, yo soy A1 Yankee.
This is Echo Alpha 1 Yankee Oscar. I'm the president of the URE, the Spanish Radio Amateur Union, equivalent to the ARRL in Spain. Iberradio is the largest ham radio fair in Spain, at least that's how it came about. This is an event that aims of gathering everything that touches Spanish radio hams, including distributors, importers, private developers, second-hand material, and the most relevant technical matters of interest. So who organizes Iberradio? Well, it's a group of people comprising of the URE, the main importers like Radio Trans, Yesu, Icom, the main distributors like Expo Radio, Project 4, and many others, I don't remember everybody. And of course all those who have something to do with the ham radio market.
En fin, no recuerdo todos exactamente, y todos aquellos que tienen alguna relevancia dentro del mercado de la radioafición.
This is an idea that came out of the recent URE Congress, where we tabled this old idea and finally got on with it. Last year we had the first edition in Madrid, in Parla. It was a success, and we expect a success again this year. Where is it? Well, this year the fair will be held in Avila in a superb exhibition space, and just as last year, it will be held on the third week of September. That's September 17 and 18. So we'll be there on that Saturday and Sunday. How much does it cost? Well, Iberradio does not cost a dime. Only what you need to spend to get there and food and lodging on site. So again, Iberradio as a fair does not cost you anything, as the entrance is completely free for visitors.
Lo que nos pueda costar el aspecto lúdico de la visita.
How was born Iberradio? Well, it came from the desire of gathering everything that had some link with ham radio in a central location of the Iberian Peninsula, where innovations can be presented, where we can contact each other, where we can renew contact, meet up, and see the latest in terms of technology or technique. So for more information, go to our website www.iberradio.es, where you can register online, print your own credential. That way you avoid lines at the door. Why go there? Well, don't miss it. This edition is gathering importance. Last year was the first one, and we believe this is the meeting point for all radio amateurs in South Europe.
Punto de encuentro de todos los radioaficionados españoles y del sur de Europa en septiembre.
So Iberradio, see you in Avila, September 17 and 18.
How cool would it be to go to something like that?
Boy, it would be. We'd have to carry an interpreter with us. So.
Yeah, definitely would, but it'd be fun.
My Espanoli's not very good.
It's not, I can tell.
Espanoli?
Yeah. It's...
yeah, it looks like it'd be a pretty cool event, though.
Speaking of European Hamfests, the biggest one, I believe, is Friedrichshafen.
Yeah.
It's either in Germany or Switzerland, one of the two. And that's one I definitely want to get to in the next few years.
That's one I want to get to, too. This one is big that we just looked at in South Europe. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll learn a little more about that after the event's happening.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, Emil, you had a big time up in, or not up, but down.
Yeah.
Where you are.
I got to operate this year with the club, Whiskey 5 Sierra Lima Alpha, my club here in Slidell. And we operated as 3 Foxtrot, Louisiana, at the actual EOC, or the operations center, the clubhouse, actually, in the field right next to it. So we had a ball. We had some visitors from neighboring clubs, and I got to take the station out, put it in the field completely on battery, and test everything I've learned since I became a ham.
Now, so we operated as 4 Alpha. That meant we had 4 stations on the air simultaneously, and we were on emergency power. So I know 3 meant you had 3 stations on the air. What is a Foxtrot?
I believe in that case that was the fact that we were operating from an EOC on emergency power.
Oh, okay.
I noticed you had a generator not used there. We had 2 of those.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Did you? For whatever reason, I had a 91 amp hour deep cycle marine battery, and that lasted literally 8 hours straight without fail. We were running on average about 70 watts, mainly on 40 meters and 20 meters,
wow.
And it did the job. I didn't need it at all.
Wow, sideband or
yeah, voice, and we did some data. I pretty much tested everything I've ever learned as a ham, digital, analog, everything. We did it all.
Hey, what about that balun I saw up there?
Yeah, that was 7 or 8. I'm sorry, it was 8 to 10 wraps of my the DX Engineering coax I brought, based on Peter's segment. So that's why I called it the uglier than Peter balun.
Well, of course, George put me on to that particular design, so I'll give him the credit.
All right, uglier than George balun.
You guys can share the title.
Yeah, uglier than Peter and George.
It worked though. It did the job. So excellent use of that, to keep the RF from coming back and make it. It wouldn't load up without that. So after that, it just worked flawlessly.
Wow.
I'm surprised you guys use generators. Would it be possible to get shall we say, a big solar panel and maybe an inverter?
I've got a solar panel, but did you notice the canopy of trees that was there? It's,
yes, yep.
There's not that much direct sunlight there.
Yeah, we use more electricity to keep the tent cool than we did to transmit with. So no, we couldn't have done that with solar power.
If it came down to being cool or transmitting, we would have had to flip a coin, I think.
Well, we have done it without air conditioning before.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was tough.
We did have fans though.
Yeah.
But we only had one fan this year, I think. Oh, did you?
I have a solution to your problem.
I brought one.
Oh, I had one too, but I never get it out.
I have a solution to your problem. Well, next year when you do field day, do it in Canada.
Yeah. Well, it'll be cool up there, more than likely.
Here we come, Mike.
Yeah. We'll go to do it in Mike's backyard.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Instead of this, we'd have to get something for the moose.
Yeah, moose repellent.
They're going to need a bigger can.
Do they have yard guard for moose?
Yeah, maybe we could use a cloaking spray and that would...
Yeah, that's a good point. This cloaking spray stuff works pretty good.
Yeah, I can tell that it should be effective. We didn't see a moose anywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, everything you've seen so far that we showed, Tommy wasn't even there yet. That was Wayne and Vince and I doing all of that. Tommy did finally show up, though. He's over there with the instruction manual, putting that vertical together for the first time. There's my generator. We broke the pull rope on it, so won't be using it this year unless I take it apart and do some working on it. Won't be using it this year unless I take it apart and do some work on it. Tommy brought his generator in the back of the truck over there. It's really quiet. Problem is, I'm not sure that he has cranked it since last year, so we're just kind of hoping that it's going to run. Well, here's the path going in, and we've got the crime scene tape up, just like we had last year. We still got a few thousand feet left, so we have plenty to go around. On the right-hand side, up under the tarp, is our new tent. Tarp's there for an extra layer of insulation. On the left is the pop-up canopy we used last year that we've covered in visqueen. There's an air conditioner around back of it. And there's an in-room air conditioner over in the tent. And you can see the screen down there is being shaken by the exhaust from it. We weren't prepared for a zombie attack. Well, you were putting that antenna up. We had a number more antennas that needed to go up as well. So, let's just.
George, are there any bears in the woods?
We didn't see any bears in the woods.
There actually are a few around here now.
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
Besides Tommy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of starting to come back around here. They've been seeing them down in Crystal Springs.
Really?
You go over to Louisiana, right across the line of Vicksburg, there's actually a bear crossing sign at the interstate.
Boy, that
Yeah,
Oh,
that would not have been pretty with us wearing earplugs while we slept.
that's when it's good to have a radio and
Yeah.
it working and it having it working. That is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we had the bear repellent over there too. He wouldn't have seen us. You know? So. Well.
just
Yeah.
I just don't go out on field day with any honey. That's bad news.
True. True. We didn't have any though. So, although I did have honey ham in my.
There you go.
There.
You don't even know how close you were, man.
I really don't. Well, of course, we all had to have some antennas, so here's what we used. Here's the antenna I'm going to use this year. It's an MFJ 43-foot telescopic fiberglass mast. I've got it on an old TV type tripod. Just kind of tied it on there to hold it supported. The thing is super lightweight. One person can easily handle it. You could even take it and lean it over with no problems at all. The very top section of it's about the size that you'd expect on a rod and reel. I'm just using this as a vertical for 20, 40, I believe 15 and 10. And what I did is I cut ground radials, 2 radials for each of those bands, and I've laid them on the ground. What I did for the radiating element is took a piece of wire and cut it for 40 meters, and then I cut that wire into segments for each of the other 3 bands that I wanted to work, and I put little wire connectors right there where I can pull it apart and just use however many sections of the correct length for whatever band I want to operate on. It's ugly, but I think it's going to work pretty good. You can see right there at the bottom I've just got an SO239 and everything's just kind of screwed together and laying on the ground. Initial tests with the antenna analyzer showed that everything tuned up good. It's not super far away from Wayne's off-center fed. You can see where it crosses it. The vertical's a little bit lower than that horizontal dipole up there, and probably about 10 feet downhill from it. So hopefully we won't get too much interference there. And this is the hay fill. They recently cut hay here, so grass is not super tall. We used the same site that we had last year and had to do very little cleanup on it. Tommy finally made it. He's over there putting his MFJ, I think it's an MFJ vertical together. He brought it last year, but when he started assembling it, he dropped a screw immediately and lost it. So we didn't use it last year, but he's going to use it this year. It's a multi-band. I'm not sure what all it covers. There's another piece of it on the ground over there. We'll have to see how that works out. We've got about 45 more minutes before field day officially begins. I think we'll actually make it this year. I'm not sure all stations will be on the air, but some of them will. And here goes the ceremonial raising of the vertical. Oh, there's one more section to go up under it. Wayne is telling Tommy which way the antenna should point. Man, that thing looks like antennas off a bug.
That's a bug.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Currently, Vince is on this Outbacker outpost that Wayne built some time ago. It's got his Outbacker antenna on it, and you probably can't see it, but there's legs that fold out, sort of act as a counterpoise there on it. Wayne is going to be, and you probably can't see it, there's a wire up there connected to that bow, and that's one end of a 80-meter off-center fed dipole. The other end goes over into the top of a tree. You said Wayne had the best setup?
Well, he had the most bands available to him on his antenna.
He did. I like mine though. I thought it performed pretty well.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it did good.
Yeah.
I've almost bought that. It was at the fiberglass push-up pole by MFJ, George, that you were using.
Yeah, I don't know if you. I guess you'd call it a push-up. They call it a telescopic fiberglass mast. It's 43 feet. Really lightweight.
Yeah, it's nice.
I've almost purchased that several times, so it's good to see somebody using it.
Yeah, I don't know what other kind of antenna you could have done with it. It was perfect for that. I mean, you know, it took nothing to hold up that lightweight wire. Doing something like a half-wave dipole on it would have been only, you know, on a band like 40 or 80, it would have been getting a little heavy. Mm-hmm. It would have held it. It's very strong.
Yeah, it performed pretty well. Mm-hmm. Not too bad.
Yeah.
I see Arnie was asking me what antenna I had, and I can't remember the number. 1763. It was an MFJ.
Yeah.
17 question mark.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. So I can send it to you, Arnie. But I ended up not being able to use that one. I had a little bit of trouble with it. I don't know if I put it together wrong, but I know I need to tune it a little bit or something.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah, we didn't spend any time trying to tune it because we were just.
Well, yeah, it was kind of late getting there, getting started, so it was time to go. But I got it set up at the house there. I'm gonna get out there and tune it, get it fixed up.
So that's what we had for antennas. Of course, we needed radios hooked to those antennas and all the gear that goes with that.
Those would be handy.
Oh, ham radio. That's right.
There you go.
We forgot something.
We got a little break in the heat here, but the rain is coming down pretty good. I think you can probably hear it. Tommy can't even hear what I'm saying.
I can barely even tell you're talking.
Me too. We're starting to spring a few leaks in the other room in there, so I think we may have to do a little regrouping.
Yeah, we may need to move to high ground.
Yeah. Finally quit raining, and we've been enjoying these IC 7300s. Tommy's on 20 meters right now, trying to bust some pileups.
55 really at Delta X-ray. Filtering's pretty nice. I've got somebody next to me, and I can turn this the passband tuning over to the left a little bit and pretty much lose the noise.
So have you got the feel for that rig yet?
Yeah, it's nice. I'm starting to get it. I've only used it just a little while, but yeah, it's pretty intuitive. Kind of like my 7100. Very familiar.
Here's my station this year. I've got the prerequisite roll of paper towels. I've got a flashlight because you couldn't need that out here in the dark. Got my laptop running the Squirrel Logger. I've got an IC 7300 here, and that's the only rig I'm planning on using for field day this year. So far I've enjoyed it pretty good, and made a fair amount of contacts on it. Got a Heil Pro Set 3 that I'm using for headphones. Of course, the mic that goes with the radio. I have an ARRL band chart here, so I can kind of keep up and see where I'm trying to operate. I've got a Belkin wireless router that we're using to network all the computers together and store the log file on one PC. Got the little 30 amp MFJ switching power supply. It's real small, and I used that field day last year too, so that's been pretty nice. I've got a red tweaker because you always need to have a tweaker handy. I've got my iPhone. I've got my ID 51A 50th anniversary edition handy talkie. And I got a bottle of water. So that's my field. Oh, one other thing, a mouse. That's my field day setup. Let's see what Tommy's got over here.
Well, I'm running the 7300. Kind of getting used to it, as you asked a few minutes ago. It's a nice rig. Having a good time with it. It's very familiar, very similar to my 7100, the way you use the touch screen. I'm kind of enjoying that, and I had a little trouble with my antenna at first, so I'm running my MFJ Big Ear at the moment. So I'm just kind of really getting started. I haven't got a whole lot of contacts yet, but I'm going to catch up with you very quickly. So for my computer, I got my little Surface Pro here and my standby Astron 30 amp power supply I've had since the day I got my general ticket. And other than that, man, just having a ball.
And two cell phones, one for each hand.
One for each hand, each flavor, one Apple, one Android, and a piece of string.
Yeah, that could come in handy.
Yeah, you just never really know, so I keep it right there. Okay. And I'm about to get a little bit hoarse from hollering on here, so I'm going to try the voice keyer, the memory keyer on here, and give that a whirl. You have yours set up, don't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got mine set up. I programmed a couple of memories in it before we left, so.
Yeah, you cheated and got a little bit of a head start on me.
Well, I did, but somebody had to go through the rigs and try to figure them out. Yeah. And unfortunately, that fell on me. But yeah, pretty easy to learn if you're used to Icom rigs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it behaves pretty much like the others, and you said it works very similar to your 7700. So, but I'm really enjoying it. The audio sounds really good on the thing too. I will say that. So anyway, let me try to make a few more contacts.
All right. Might go on for the Gipper. Well, Vince, do you want to tell us what you're running? Or?
I'm running the exact same thing y'all are running.
Pretty much, but you have one very necessary accessory over here that we're not running. Fortunately, you're running a big one.
But we are reaping the benefits of yours.
Yeah, we are reaping the benefits of Vince's. This is an in-room air conditioner?
Yeah.
It's got a vent hose that's going out the window there of the tent. That has worked out pretty nice, and there's another one in here in Wayne's part of the campsite here. In Wayne's World. Here is the air conditioner over in Wayne's wing of the campsite here. I think we looked at this a little earlier from the outside, so it's very similar construction to what we had last year. And here's his operating station. Of course, we're kind of swapping around too, and different people running different rigs and different bands.
Party on, George.
Party on, Tommy.
How was life over in Wayne's World in there?
Wayne's World?
Yeah.
It was kind of hot in there because the sun was beating up pretty good on that.
Coming down through that clear plastic?
Through the clear plastic, yeah.
Yeah, so total, we had 2 air conditioners in there. Mm-hmm. We had, in Wayne's World, there was a 5,000 BTU.
Yeah.
And then Vince's freestanding one was a 10,000. So we had 15,000 BTUs of cooling in a tent.
Yeah. And that was just barely, that was just enough.
Well, once we got the exhaust vent tucked out from under the tarp, because it was circulating coming back in through the mesh in the top of the tent. it
helped,
worked a lot better. But yeah, live and learn.
Yeah.
What a mesh.
Yeah, what a mesh. But that was a lifesaver, though. Those air conditioners were.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't have been able to stay in that tent otherwise.
Not with the tarps over it.
No. It would have been pretty doggone miserable.
Yeah.
But not so bad in there.
No, it wasn't bad at all. And the evenings were great.
Yeah. And we talk a little more about this a little later in some of the videos here. But right now, let's take a break, get another message from one of the people who helped make Amateur Logic possible, and then we're going to come back. Everything you've seen so far has gotten us up through sometime Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
So we got a little more to go yet. Get out there and get on the air. Combine your recreational enjoyment this summer of amateur radio with the great outdoors. Join the National Parks on the Air event and celebrate our national parks turning 100 years young. Just be sure your Icom equipment is ready for action. See how Icom is changing the way receivers are being designed with Icom's new IC7300. It will exceed expectations. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. Limited space is no problem with the IC7100 base station. It's a great compact D-Star option. Angled control head and touchscreen for quick intuitive operation, large internal speaker for clear digital audio, and it's perfect for multi-band and all-mode communications. Simplified operation, HF and digital technology, the IC718 base station is the most practical rig you will ever own. Front-mounted loudspeaker, DSP capability, selectable antenna tuner, and simple operation. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on all Icom radios.
The 7300, man, that was like the star of the field day.
That was. It really worked out nice. So we had made a few contacts by this point, but
yeah,
I don't think we'd made as many as we wanted to.
We didn't make as many as we wanted to by the time I left.
Well, no, we didn't, but we made more than we did last year.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, what was our final score for this year?
The score? 750.
Yeah.
Something. I think 750.
Yeah. You guys weren't alone there. 40 meters and 20 meters was pretty much all we were working, and there was no sunspots, none. And the bands weren't that great, but the the one thing we learned this year is how to play those points, right? Especially if we were in the EOC, we had a doctor on site, we had a safety officer, public relations, we had the media show up. There was all sorts of things we did. So we are, I think the club last night was talking about being in the thousands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's just because of all the other extra stuff we did, though.
We didn't have any of that stuff. We should have.
Yeah, as far out as we were, man, all we could get was a witch doctor. And the media couldn't have found us out there.
I could have guessed I could have been the media.
Even the FBI couldn't have found us out there.
True. And, judging by the chainsaw incident there wasn't that much safety happening. So, anyway, we got through Saturday night, and, here's a little bit of what went on Sunday morning. And those of you in the chat room asking about the food, watch real close or you're going to miss it. We've been about 12 hours on a 6-gallon tank of gas, so we're looking for the generators to go out here just about any time. Now we've got another one standing by. We've got two, but one of them's got a broke starter rope on it, so we can't really use it. We need to make more contacts. We need to make a lot more contacts. We're probably, I don't know, we're not halfway where we were this time last year, so we got more work to do.
Well, my last contact was an interesting one. It was a chap from Ontario, our friend VE3MIC, Mike. Actually, it was one of his buddies he's up there working field day with, so that was a good contact. Otherwise, it's going pretty well. Still chugging along here, trying to make some more. Band's kind of dying down just a little bit on 20 meters, but There's still some activity on there, but not as much as it was. So
looks like a fair amount of activity there.
yeah, it's just not as much as it was. It was a lot more. So anyway, I'm gonna try to get as many as I can for bedtime.
It's about 8 o'clock Sunday morning, and we've been out here in the woods since about 4 o'clock Friday afternoon, so we look and feel our best. What's on the schedule for today, Tommy?
First of all, I've got the Breakfast of Champions here, and try to make up some headway, because unfortunately we took a break in the trying to make contacts and slept, so kind of got a little bit behind the curve on that one. So we need to step up the game a little.
Yeah, we should have thought better about that.
Yep, it was a waste of time.
Pretty much. Well, the band's back open, looks like.
Yeah, it's starting to. I'm on 20 over here, so it's starting to open up. I'm starting to see a few more lines on my waterfall display here. When I first got started this morning, about 6 a.m., it was pretty much blank, so it's livening up a little bit.
Well, I've made a few. I need to make a lot more, though. We're running behind, and we lost a lot of contacts in the database, apparently, overnight.
Yeah, some kind of a weird issue. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, we lost some, so we're going to have to make up ground for that, too.
Yeah, that's why we should just have used a paper log, right?
Yeah, it's hard to mess those up.
Easy to get duplicates on them, though, I imagine.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, I'll let you get back to knocking them cold over there. And how many cold ones did you knock over, Tommy?
that Breakfast of Champions, man.
Yep.
Pack of cheese nips.
Yep. Hey, we didn't cook anything. I noticed some of them were.
Well, and we never do.
We actually had a potluck dinner down at the clubhouse, maybe around 6 or 7 p.m. Saturday night, and everybody brought stuff from all over the place. And another thing I wanted to say is we also used that squirrel logger. What was the trouble you guys had with it?
We lost some of Wayne's contacts. I don't know if it's had the same band open on 2 stations or something, but we lost a bunch of contacts off of Wayne.
Yeah,
from Wayne.
Yeah, it was. I did notice just in preliminary setups of all the PCs at the club, it's a little squirrely when it comes to the locations of the files as well. So
yeah,
we're going to do something different next year.
Yeah. We didn't have potluck lunch there. You know, there was no kitchen in our clubhouse. I guess next year we'll have to build one.
Yeah.
Carry a little more plastic.
Yeah, plastic kitchen.
Well, from the look of those trailers, you brought everything except the kitchen.
Yeah, there's a lot of gear there.
Yeah, no one went hungry, but we just didn't.
No. And it's hot. It's really hot. Even with the air conditioners, it's still kind of warm. And personally, I just rather not even have a hot food.
Yeah, something cold to eat is pretty good.
What you need is a case of VB.
What did he say?
Hold on,
I misunderstood.
Wait a minute.
Hold the back
Give
up.
us the phonetics.
VB, Victoria Bitter, beer.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that was a close.
Yeah.
And Australian beer, better still.
Australian VB.
I thought the show was just going south really in a hurry.
Yeah, I did too. Well, we've got the wrap up coming here next, but I tell you what, why don't we go ahead and watch the wrap up and see
And then we can wrap
usual,
up after the wrap up?
I think we can.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see how everybody felt about
I can't
the
wait
wrap
to see
up
how it
after.
ended.
Yeah. Well, this is a cliffhanger. Another field day has come and gone, and looks like everybody survived it.
For the most part.
For the most part. Well, you know, we like to do a wrap up on them and talk about what we did right and what we did wrong and what went wrong. So I guess first let's talk about what we did wrong this year. Wayne, you got any ideas of what we could have done differently or that we didn't do just right?
Well, y'all got the new tent to be the shack, which seemed to work out pretty good. It was about, what, 10 or 12 degrees hotter this year than it was last year.
Yeah.
So, thankfully, my brother, who came along this year, brought us another portable air conditioner, which helped a lot with that. But we didn't realize just how much insulation a tarp over the top of the canopy provided for us last year.
The shade.
The shade.
Yeah.
That was a big difference right there. Yeah. Go ahead.
Even though we were running 2 air conditioners, it was warmer in there this year, I think, than it was last year.
Yeah, well, our tent, we didn't know about the design of the tent when we bought it, but it's got mesh in the top, so I suspect some of our cool air was escaping.
Yeah, we actually had, what do they call it, a fly?
Rainfly.
Rainfly over the top of that to kind of help seal it some. And then we draped a tarpaulin over the whole tent, and thinking that gives us 2 layers of insulation there, but I almost wonder if it wouldn't have been better to have suspended the tarp like we did a year ago where we had the shade.
Maybe have a place for the heat to escape somewhat. Yep. Even though cool air would have gone, at least the heat could have dissipated somewhat.
Yeah. Tommy, what do you think we could have done different or didn't do right?
Well, I think overall it went pretty well. Again, we had a higher temperature this year to battle that wasn't so bad last year. It was bad, but it wasn't as bad. I think having the extra awning here was good, but maybe I think if I should have probably brought that one with the screen on it, it might have made things a little bit easier. Just my thoughts, but I don't know. It's I don't know. I probably fell down a little bit on the pre-prep stuff this year, so I didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, you didn't show up until we had everything set up and ready to go.
Yeah, it worked out pretty nice like that.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that.
Yeah.
Well, Vince, what do you think? What could we have done differently, or maybe we didn't do right? Any ideas?
We could have brought a travel trailer and parked it out here.
That would have been good.
Well, if we had one.
I'd vote for that.
That was the problem there. That was the only holdup.
We'll start a GoFundMe account.
There you go. We bought a tent.
Kickstarter. Yeah.
We bought a tent this year. Maybe we can buy a Winnebago next year.
There you go. Upgrade.
Yeah. Well, what do I think? Well, all the things that y'all said. And as I mentioned, maybe pitching that A-frame with the tarp. I think that would have helped a lot to keep some shade in here. I think, and I don't know that we could have, but I wish that we had found those 2 or 3 little stobs sticking up out here that were up under the tent. We looked for them, but we just couldn't find them all. We knocked out most of them. Yeah. But of course, we had a pine tree to cut when we get here. It was laying across.
Yeah, I wish we had a video of it. It's about that big around.
Oh, we got a video of it.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah. So, thankfully, Wayne had the chainsaw, and we were able to.
It ran just long enough.
Just long enough. Yep.
That's all it takes.
It would have been nice to have got those few extra stobs out, and maybe level up the ground a little bit. We really couldn't see though, because this is in the woods and it's thick with leaves and pine straw.
And it was dark when we did this.
Yes, it was.
6 or 8 more field days, and we ought to have a little condo out here by then.
Well, I tell you what, when we got here this year, there wasn't that much to clean up, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, sawing that tree up was the biggest thing.
That took about an hour.
Yep. Yep. But, yeah, and the other thing I think maybe we could have done differently is we've been using that squirrel logger for field day.
Yeah.
Which it has worked okay, but it's really intended for a single user on a single computer. And we had our laptops all networked together, and we would just point them all to one folder on one of the computers, and everybody was just writing to the files on there whenever they save their entries. somehow we lost about 40 entries that Wayne did overnight while the rest of us slept. And
Yeah. So
All for nothing.
time to move on to another
well,
logging program.
the fun of it though. And somebody, 40 people at least, got an extra contact
That we didn't.
that we didn't. So I don't know, maybe we ought to research some other logger options. I like the squirrel program. It's very simple. It worked good, but that's a pretty big drawback.
Yeah, it's simple and it's real easy to use, but, you know, efficient. But I'm actually thinking about, I was talking to Vince about it earlier, maybe writing one that's hosted on a Raspberry Pi,
Yeah,
web-based one.
that could be interesting.
Yeah, maybe. I'll find some time between now and next year. Should be pretty easy to write.
Field Pi or Pi Day?
Yeah, I don't know.
Pi Day.
Yeah.
Pi Day logger.
Squirrel Pi. So, yeah, that's what I thought about it. So, what do you think we did right, Wayne?
Well, there's no doubt the air conditioning being here was definitely right.
Well, yeah, I think
Even though they struggled to keep up with the heat and humidity this year, but that was definitely right.
Yeah.
I kind of hated it took two of them, but I mean, I'm glad you guys brought them.
Well,
But we only had one last year.
and that's one other problem we ran into. Wayne, thank goodness, had a 5 kilowatt generator. I've got a 5 kilowatt one, but we broke the pull rope on it, so we couldn't use it. Yours is how much?
3.5.
And it really didn't want to pull the two air conditioners.
It wasn't quite enough for two.
No. So we ended up running on Wayne's generator the whole time. We had enough gas that, well, we ran out just after
About 10 minutes after field day ended.
Yep. Just in time that we could sweat when it came time to pack everything up.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah, that's part of the experience.
Well, tell me, since y'all had the opportunity to field day the new Icom 7300s, what are your impressions?
I think that's one of the things we did right.
Yeah, I would count that as a right.
I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. We knew it was a good radio. Tommy and I had seen it before it was even released. You know, we shot a video for Icom on it. We were able to get 3 here to use during field day and set them right up. I spent an hour going over it before we ever got to the event here. I showed Vince a little bit about it, what I'd learned about it Friday night. Tommy already had worked with some similar Icom radios, so he caught on pretty quick to it too. I liked it. I thought it did good. Yeah, we had a few decent issues every now and then, but that was, I think, mainly because our antennas were all so close over here.
Yeah, I think any radio, I think when you put the antenna that close together, you're going to have a little bit of that.
We had some of that last year with the other radios
I think
that we
sure
used.
did.
But overall, the functionality of it, the features were really good. The receivers were really good because I think we were hearing everything that was out there. I don't think we missed hearing anything.
Audio quality was good.
Yeah.
My ears, you know, it didn't bother my ears from listening for long periods.
Right.
And the waterfall was really nice because when you're looking for contacts, you can just find them and just
Yeah.
you know, pop right over
You know
there.
where to go.
Exactly. You don't have to go just scan around.
Yeah. Well, you and I we've been using Icom rigs for several years. Vince, this year probably first experience with one of the newer Icom rigs. What do you think about the DSP?
I liked it. I mean, it was super easy to use.
What about the quality of the audio that you were getting?
Yeah, it was better than any other radio I've had time to actually sit down and play with for an extended period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was real comfortable to listen to for a long period of time, which is important if you're going to, work field day or an extended event, and you're going to be wearing headphones. Noisy radio will wear you out in no time. And of course,
that's a fact.
Yeah, and the band conditions have a lot to do with it too.
Which I have to say this year were, except for 40 and 20, they were pretty bad, in my opinion.
Well, 80 is always just noisy. I mean, it's just hard to work 80 meters in the summertime. 40 and 20, there was something pretty much going on 24 hours a day. It had died down a little bit, or thinned out a little by midnight.
About midnight it tapered off pretty good.
40 was still going because Wayne worked it way on up in the morning, and it was doing pretty good. 15, did anybody make a 15
I think
meter?
I got 5 contacts on 15, but that was it.
We didn't do anything on 10 meters or 6 meters.
Yeah, I took the lazy way out, man. I didn't want to go out in the sun and retune my antenna.
Yeah, so I worked 40 meters for the whole event.
Okay.
And you?
I stayed on 20 the whole time.
Yeah. What bands did you work?
20, 40, 80, and I think
I saw you down on 6 one time. Did you make any contacts down there? No contact.
I tried finding somebody down there, but I could never hear anything.
Yeah. What bands did you work, Wayne?
I did 80, 40, 20, 15, and looked on 10 and 6, but I didn't find anything there.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Antenna-wise this year, well, let me go back to what we did right. I don't think I gave you a chance to say what we did right, did I?
I don't think so, but I fully concur with the air conditioner synopsis on what we did right, and I think overall the antenna situation was okay, but I think it probably could have a little bit improved on some of them. But
yeah,
the site's good. It's every time we come out here, it gets a little bit better.
It does.
So I think it's a good place.
And Wayne ran the same antenna that he had last year. The 80 meter off center fed dipole. You used the same antenna you had last year.
I did. I used the MFJ Big Ear again.
And you had another one. But
yeah. I had a vertical set up, and I had. It's always a time constraint problem, but I put it together and I brought it out, but I didn't get it tuned right exactly. So I've got to take it back home and spend a little time and get it tuned, and so anyway, it looks like a nice antenna. I just didn't have it quite right yet.
Yeah.
So for time's sake, I fell back to the Big Ear.
Yeah. What did you use, Vince? Well, you used a couple of different antennas, but
yeah, I used the 80 meter off center fed dipole that Wayne had put up when he was sleeping. I'd just run his coax over to my radio and use it.
Yeah.
And also used a outbacker on a tripod.
The one that outpost that Wayne built. We've already torn that down, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one to go.
Yeah, but we showed it a couple of years ago when we were up at the church for field day.
Well, that was a different. Was it the same outpost?
It was the same stand. I just had the. I was trying the bug catcher on that.
That's right.
At that time because the outbacker was still on my truck.
Okay.
I hadn't got my Tar Heel yet.
Yeah. I used something different this year. I used 40 meter vertical, which we really haven't done much with verticals here. Tommy's Bigger was the closest thing to vertical we've used. But I've got that 43 foot MFJ telescoping mast, fiberglass mast, lightweight. I mean, you can stretch it out 43 feet and hold it like a fishing pole.
It looks like a giant fishing pole.
Yeah. I'm pretty satisfied with the way it performed. I think it worked at least as good as the 40 meter off-center fed dipole that I had run right across this ditch last year that was about eye level as high as we could get it.
It sounded, I don't know how you were getting out on it, but apparently it was working. It sounded good.
Yeah. I think I was getting out as good as I probably would have on about anything else like that.
But it's really convenient the way you have it with the tripod and then that mast, so you can, a nice portable antenna if you want to take it somewhere.
And that is a doorbell wire. That's what I made it out of. That was the cheapest wire that I could buy that was copper, had insulation on it. Didn't have to have insulation, but I wanted it because I knew that I'd probably be on a metal tripod and I didn't want it slapping against it. And I just untwisted the two wires so that I'd have enough to make all the radios and all. No visitors this year. Of course, not a lot of people knew we were coming here. A couple of people did.
If anybody comes here, it's usually got to be your family or somebody's got to be lost to make it back down here.
Kind of, yeah. We had a few people recognize us on the air. We operated as W5JDX. A few people recognized it as being associated with some of the video programs.
Yeah, last night I actually, they actually thought I was you when I worked them, and I had to explain to them, no, we're just using his call.
Yeah. Well, we've got a tent to tear down and get packed up here. We've got most of the other stuff packed up,
except the antennas that are out in the sun.
Yep. Well, it's a good thing we waited till they were nice and dry out there.
The sun ought to be straight up now, so you don't have to worry about any shade getting in the way.
Yep. Should be able to see good.
Yeah.
Well, any final words before we go, Vince?
Nope.
So, this is your first field day that you've gone out and done the whole weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many years you been a ham?
Almost 30.
Okay.
Wow.
So it was about time then.
Yeah, I mean, I had been to several field days before.
But you really participated in this one. You were up in the thick of it.
Yeah, I wasn't just a guest.
Yeah. So you think you'll do it again?
It's possible, but unlikely.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not much of an outdoorsman.
Yeah, that's what Wayne had told us.
Yeah. It's been 10 years since I've seen him out in the woods.
Oh, wow.
And he stayed one day and left.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think we made progress. He stayed 2 days this time.
we're getting there.
There you go.
We're getting there.
In another 10 years, I may stay 3.
Okay.
Well,
Tommy?
Yeah. What's the question?
Any final
Any parting
words, thoughts? Yeah.
No. I'm just, I'm ready to go take a shower and sit in the air conditioner.
Yep. I think that's an excellent plan.
Especially the shower.
Yep.
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks for joining us, and hope you all had a good field day. And if you didn't, maybe we encouraged you a little bit to go out and try it next year. You know, it's all different kinds of ways to do it. This is just the way we like it.
We rough it.
I think I've got a solution for the poor band conditions. What you need to use is a twister tenor. You recall that?
Oh, yeah,
Peter Snipe's great
Professor
antenna.
Snipe.
Yeah,
I think that might help you.
Yeah, that's an Australian product, isn't it?
That's correct. Yeah, we had a video on it some time ago, and I think it could really help you guys out.
Well, it could.
We need to contact Professor Snipe and look into that.
We do. Or maybe we could just get directly in touch with one of the developers.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Well, Peter, you've seen our American Field Day here. What do you think? You know, you told us one time that you had one down there in Australia.
Well, we do have them. Yeah, Field Day I think it is. But to be brutally honest, I think you're stark raving mad. You know, I think going out into the fields.
What are you trying to say, Peter? Don't beat around the bush.
Getting eaten by mosquitoes. It's not my idea of fun. My idea of fun is a 4-star hotel with a aerial draped out the window. That works better for me.
There's no fun in that.
Yeah, we didn't have any. We didn't get a single mosquito bite. I mean, so
this stuff really works. Trust me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No bears, moose, gators,
snakes.
The deep woods off is the thing.
Yep.
There were chainsaws, however.
There were chainsaws.
There were chainsaws. Yes. No banjos.
Yeah, you might have to retitle this episode "Mississippi Chainsaw Massacre."
I think we've reached the end of another episode here. Let's go around and see if there's any final. Yeah, I did see a mosquito in here a while ago with all of this stuff too.
Yeah, that's pretty brave.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, let's do the wrap up with the wrap up here, Tommy.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
Okay. Well, it was fun. It was a fun field day. I don't want to go through the whole did everything right and wrong thing again.
No, we've already
covered
done that
for about 20 minutes. But it was a lot of fun. It was kind of hot. I think maybe we need to revisit our tent setup.
I think you're probably right about that.
Anyway, it was a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Peter, wrap up from you, or you kind of, I guess, maybe just gave it to us, but give us another one.
Oh, no, look, each to their own. I'm sure you guys had a great time out at Field Day, and I wouldn't mind, the only equivalent I wouldn't mind doing at some stage is a day's mountain topping, where you go out to a nearby mountain and work a few stations from up there. I've got Mount Dandenong next door, and some very nice parks and places to work radio from up there. So that's something I might do when the weather's a little bit better. Yeah,
we don't really have any mountains around here.
No, there's a hill back there.
There is, yeah. Yeah. Well, Emil, any final wrap-up comments?
Yeah, it's good to hear you guys. I think we learned a lot of the same things, and you know, you got to keep moving forward. So next year we'll probably do the same, trying to improve our multi-station logging coordination, and maybe other alternative forms of power instead of, you know, solar is something I've always wanted to incorporate into my mobile field station. So that's in my plans already. I just have to do it. So it's good to hear from somebody else, though. You get ideas and exchange, you know, what you can do and what's out there.
Yeah, I wanted to do solar, but it just was too far of a run to get that solar panel out there.
Yeah, we would have lost
decent light.
So much with that long a wire. It just, you know, wouldn't have really worked out. Well, for my wrap up, yeah, it was just fun as always. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
And there's a lot we didn't shoot or record, but you know, that's just the way it worked out.
Yeah.
There's so much to do that it's kind of hard to hold a camera and pitch a tent at the same time.
You know, the whole thing is fun. It's a lot of work, and it's really hot, obviously. But when you get home, man, that shower when you get home, that's like the best shower of the whole year.
Yeah, I think that'll do it for this episode, and we'll be back next month. I know, Peter's, you got a little Arduino action for us, don't you?
Oh yes, I've done a segment on how to interface 16 by 2 LCDs to your Arduino. And it's really, really easy. So that's I've already finished that segment, and we'll have that for you next month.
Cool.
Oh, good. We haven't done any Arduino stuff in a while.
We haven't. We're overdue on some good Arduino.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do some of that stuff myself.
Yep. And I suspect the rest of us, we don't know what we're going to do yet.
Yeah, I know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to tell.
Okay. It's sneaky.
Well, it's D-Star. It's a D-Star thing. I haven't done any of that in a while.
Okay. All right.
I've got some D-Stars toys to play with.
Cool. I've got some you can play with too, and build my hotspot for me.
Well, yeah, hook up with me, Tommy, on that. We could do maybe a contact as a segment.
Okay. Well, I'll holler at you and we can try it out.
All righty.
Get it put together.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, everyone. 73.
73, everybody.
73.
Let's go home.
You think so?
Let's try.
See y'all next year.
Okay.
That's the third time you said that.
Yeah, I know. I'm still here. What we didn't do right, I should have brought a little softer chair. All right.
All right.
We're only 35 minutes late,
Yeah.
so we're right on time.
And all I need to do is plug in the power to that camera before.
And Arnie should be really enjoying himself tonight, 'cause he likes it when it doesn't go so smooth.
Yep.
So this one's for you, Arnie.
Stuff works good.
It worked on Peter and Emil too.
It works.